since everybody liked my last salsa, what I try to do is, I think I'm gonna kick it up a notch. No, I probably shouldn't use that phrase. But I want to show you, this time we're not gonna do one, we're gonna do two salsas. All right, the first salsa. So the first salsa we're gonna make, I've had this idea, I've never made this before, ever. So this isn't, you always experiment on your family and friends. So I'm gonna make a pineapple jalapeno salsa. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna roast the jalapenos and the pineapples in the oven. Just like you saw in the last video with the peppers and the thing and the tomatoes that I put in the oven. We're gonna get a nice char on these. We want them to get soft. We want this to break down and caramelize. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these in a blender, and off to the side I'm gonna boil this onion along with about 5 cloves of garlic. Now the last one I told you, a lot of Mexican recipes, they use only like 1 or 2 pieces of garlic. But I like a lot of garlic in ours, and the red salsa actually turned out really good. So I'm gonna put, these are kind of small, so I'm gonna go put all of these in there. So, and always you need some acid, even though the pineapple is kind of acidic. I always put a juice of 1 lime. And I'm not real sure on the cilantro, but I'm gonna start off with maybe half a bunch. We'll test it, and we'll go from there. The second batch of salsa that I'm gonna make is one that I've actually made before, and I'm actually missing the key ingredient. I'm gonna make a creamy avocado tomatillo salsa. You've probably seen creamy avocado salsas. When the first time I saw it, I'm like, I can make that. So what I'm gonna do today is what we're gonna do is same style as you saw before, and I told you it's kind of weird, but we boil things. A lot of Mexican recipes, they boil the salsa. So we're gonna do that here. We're gonna boil the tomatillos, and then for my Caucasian friends, I just wanted to show you, it's not a green tomato. Although when I first encountered one, I thought it was a baby green tomato. It actually looks like this. It's in a husk. And you've got to peel the husk away, which is weird, right? It's got a little stick to it, a little sticky. You rinse these off and then just pop it on there and you roast it out. Now, once you've husked it, you can treat it like a tomato. I think they're a little bitter. They probably have a little more tang to them than a tomato. You want these to cook down in the water so they're nice and mushy. That's also going to give you some liquidity, if you will, to the salsas. I'm going to use Serranos. Just like on my last video, I keep telling you guys that I like it a little spicy. And you know, if you were to ask me if this salsa is going to be hot, it would depend. Is this hot? Sometimes you get a Serrano and it's hot as all hell. I've had like where I've only put 2 in here and you couldn't eat it. And then the last batch I made was 6 and it was fine. We had no problem. So I'm actually going to put 6 because our family likes it. I wanted to also show you something before I forget. Can you see the difference between these 2 jalapenos? Now I saw online, and I'm going to find out if this is true today, but if you see these white veins right here, they're telling me that if they have these white veins in it, they're going to be hot. Whereas this one is solid, there's no veins in it. So I've also experienced that where I put jalapeno in something, 6 of them like this in the salsa, and it wasn't hot at all. So we're going to see if that's the case. So I showed you how to do the tomatillos. We're going to boil those, boiled serranos. I'm also doing, again, 5 cloves of garlic, and on both recipes, half an onion. On this one, I may put the juice of 2 limes. I like it a little more acidic. And I'll probably use most of this bunch of cilantro. Now, these are all going to be an accoutrement to my shrimp tacos. The shrimp tacos, if you move over here, what I've done, let me grab it's time to season these. So these are pretty good size shrimps I got. They're pre-deveined, pre-shelled. It's important that you dry these off. And what you want to do then is take some olive oil. I like to drizzle a little olive oil on it. Now I dried them off, and I found out the reason that we dry them off, if you leave them wet when you're trying to cook with them, any seasoning or anything you put on them is just going to turn. They're going to steam in the skillet. I guess if you were putting it on the grill, it wouldn't matter because it'd be nice and hot. So it's good to put a layer of olive oil on here like this. It's going to coat the bottom too. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 seasonings. Now I'm not getting a promotion from these guys. It's just stuff I like to use. So I'm going to use this Tony Chachere's Cajun stuff, which is it's a Creole seasoning. I use it on everything from catfish to but it has a more of a, I don't know, like a peppery taste to it. So I like to call it the heat and the sweet. So this is called Rufus Teague's barbecue rug, and it's for fish. I found this at a local grocery store. So we're going to put this on there. Stella. shot, man. Bat out. Finished up the can. Now, my Rufus, this gives it a nice sweet flavor. It's a little more chunky. And I put it on liberal because these shrimp are going to sit for a little bit. And that oil, they're going to adhere to all that oil. It's going to become like almost like a paste. So we're going to let that sit. Alright, while we're making the salsas. I won't let them get too warm, room temperature, okay? Alrighty, so that's it for now. We're going to go ahead and start getting things roasted off and boil. Cup of mayo. I'm gonna guess this. It doesn't look like it's enough usually mayo for the amount, but really when you start mixing it in, it actually is. Sriracha is more because I don't have much left, so this is about of a quarter of a cup in here, so I'm gonna use all of it. As you can tell, it doesn't last very long in our house. So the next thing is some lemons. One. You really need this acid. Kind of cut through this a little bit. I'm going to start off with one. Got a seed in there. Goodbye, seed. Goodbye, seed. Alright, then you got to start mixing it. As you can see, I'm actually mixing it pretty good. I almost forgot, put a little bit of salt. Oh man, this is good. It already smells good. Mixed up real good. Taste a little bit. I know what my wife's gonna say. More salt. Oh, let's add a little bit of pepper. Fancy. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little more lemon in it. Just kind of cuts through the mayo, I think. Alrighty, mixed up pretty good. There you have it. Sriracha mayo coleslaw. Alright, so the next thing is we're going to put this in the fridge. Like I said, you want it to set up, right? Okay, I wanted to show you how you can tell when this is ready. Look at this tomatillo here. It's falling apart. It's mushy. It's ready to go. So this is done. Turn it off. Turn the heat off. So as you saw there in the previous video that's rolling through, I've got everything in the pot. So we've got the avocado, and I also made use of the water, so I boiled everything together, but half the onion and half that garlic will go to the other recipe, and of course I got this. And if you remember from my last video, that water is important because if this is too chunky, I can use that water to help loosen it up. So I've got that in there. You saw me also, I put 2 limes, 4 halves. I'm gonna add some salt. Again, you want to be pretty liberal with the salt. You can even add pepper to this. I'm not going to. Again, some people ask why not to use a blender. I don't like using a blender. I think it makes it like soup, but some people like that. So I'm going to blitz this up a couple times, and if you remember too from the last video, we're looking for consistency. So here we go. Will say on a blender, it does make it more traditional. So if you go to a Mexican restaurant, they have the salsa in the little, it's in the little squeeze bottle. It's very watered down, but it's also less chunky. So you can see on my brim, I've got pieces of cilantro there. I like that. So that tells me it's going to be a little bit chunky, you know, a little chunkier, a little thicker. Oh yeah. I mean, that's what the consistency is. So remember I told you too what I'm looking for. Did I break down the tomatillos, the peppers and stuff? I don't want any big peppers, so I mean, look at that, that's pretty. So it is a little thick, so I'm gonna go ahead and I think this one I may loosen it up a little bit. Let's hit it one more time. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of thick, so I mean, it's still chunky. You can see little chunks of avocado in there, peppers and onions. It may be good that way. But again, you could loosen this up, so if you wanted to use it in a squeeze bottle. So what I'm going to do is, what you should do before you do anything, is test it. All right, cut. So it is, it's vibrant. It's citrusy because I put 2 limes in here. It's creamy. I love the taste of that cilantro. It does have a little heat, so 6 Serranos, that one. On a scale of 1 to 10 for heat, that's probably a 7 maybe. Burns back your throat a little bit, but it's really good. That's gonna be great on shrimp tacos. All right, the peppers are out and the pineapple's out. Nice and tender. These are nice and pliable and mushy and also charred. That's actually going to add a nice color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plate this up really quick, wash this again, wash everything, and then start over and blend that one up. All right, back in a second. inside there, that helps. Okay, what did I forget? Did I forget anything? Again, I got water in case I want to loosen it up. Again, I like it chunky, so that very rarely happens. I'll do it. All right, it's down. Whoop. Set for a second. Interesting color. Check it out. You can tell there's a couple pieces that need to be blended down a little bit. It's really cool looking. There's some cilantro that didn't get chopped up, so one more blitz. Man, that smells really good. This one was intended to put on the shrimp, so but I'm going to try with a chip just to see what it tastes like. Wow, that is cool. It's sweet and spicy and herbaceous because it has the cilantro in it. That is going to be the bomb on shrimp, and it's really good. Don't want to double dip. We're really good. So that was really different. You want to see the texture? This would be great on pork chops, fish, do shrimp tacos, chips, dessert, your hubcap. All right, so I'll plate this up and then I'll clean up everything and then I'll get working on the shrimp. All right, so salsas are done. Now this is the quick part. You got to really watch these. So what I'm gonna do is I got my pan on medium high, and it takes a minute. This is a cast iron skillet. Drizzle a small little bit of oil. You don't want to fry shrimp. This is to keep them from sticking to the bottom. And another trick that I have. I mean, what goes better with shrimp and butter? So a little pat of butter. We'll keep that close because we'll probably need some more. So as you can see, our shrimp are ready to go. I'm also going to set up a plate with some paper towel on it. So I've got my comal ready for my tortillas. Probably all my Hispanic friends are laughing because I'm saying comal. Comal. Right?
Comal.
What?
Comal.
Comal. You know all the You need to let this heat up. Last thing we're going to do is put shrimp on a cold something. What we're going to try to, and they're going to cook quick, so, and you don't want to crowd the pan, so you got to cook this in batches. I learned that the hard way. Again, even though I've got all the moisture off, you start putting them all really close, it steams. They don't crisp up. You want to have a little crisp to it. And because I put all that seasoning on there, oh man, it's going to be really good with butter. Shrimp's out. Looks pretty dang good. So next step, to have a taco, you need a tortilla. Now what's funny is I'm doing this because people in Texas, this is normal. But if you're from the East Coast like I was, or a military brat, you travel around, or maybe just a really, really Caucasian, I don't know. But this is the best part of the taco is making the tortilla. You can use corn, flour. You can use corn or flour. We're going to use flour today, but I really like the corn ones because they're delicious. So you don't need a comal to do this. You can use a hot skillet, as my wife taught me when we lived in Germany. So what you want to do is, yeah, and it's funny, the first tortillas I remember having is probably the old El Paso in that Ziploc bag that they bought in there, the bread that probably has a bunch of preservatives. These, however, in Texas were made fresh at my, they're nice. I mean, they're made fresh every day at our local grocery store. So what you're doing is, this is nothing but lard and flour. So what you're doing is you're heating it up and it's cooking it, so you can see it gets these nice crisp edges on it, and it actually makes it pliable and softer too. So when you get it like this, it's more of a rubbery texture, but then once you puff it up like this, man, it makes the taco. So I wanted to show you this because in Texas, you take it for granted people know how to do this, but where I grew up in Virginia, this is not something we did, so I wanted to share it. All right, thanks. All right, nothing left to do but plate up a taco. So take our nice warm tortillas that we just heated up. We take some shrimp. I usually go across the section here on the bottom. Don't be afraid to load it up. Man, these turned out really good. Take a little bit of your SLAW. Remember I added half a cup of the SLAW? Now look, it's wet. Just by sitting, it's gotten wet. So you can actually add less if you like a drier SLAW. And if sometimes doing a taco like this, you want a drier SLAW because if not, your tortilla just gets all soggy. All right. I think I'm gonna go with the crazy pineapple salsa. A little bit of heat. I think I'll put a little bit of, I'm gonna try a little bit of cream down at the bottom in here. Alrighty. That looks good. Nothing left to do but taste this thing. Oh my Lanta. Oh, it's really good. Oh man. Those are good shrimp too. Yeah, that's everything you want in a taco. So, try some of this out. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, hit me below in the comments and I'll answer you back. Thanks.